Posehn. I used to have a podcast where I played Dungeons and Dragons with a bunch of my friends. I missed it, so I decided to make a new one. It's called Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker. It's myself, a couple of my buddies, Blaine Patch, Dan Telfer, Ken Daly, an occasional guest or two, and we're going to be playing in a new setting, my dining room. Each week you'll hear my wife, my son, my dogs, and we're going to be playing in a place that I love and playing the game that I've loved half my life, Dungeons and Dragons. We've got 5th edition, and we're ready. So are you ready? Here's Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker. Hey everybody, it's Brian Posehn, and you're listening to Brian Posehn's Nerd Poker. Rhodes is asleep already, so he's not doing our intro this week. The dogs are acting extra ornery. Jesus, Mavis. she's headbutting my arm to get me to give her attention.
With a pet.
I gotta be honest, Brian. The way these dogs are acting tonight, I'm thinking maybe a 7.1, 7.3 maybe.
Oh, shit. My friends are here. That was one of them. That was the skinny, funny one. Blaine. There's also Ken and Dan.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, there's Sam. We never say hi to Sam in the beginning. Hi, Sam.
We don't say
Sure,
hi to him,
here.
but we always reference him at some point. But
One time he said hi.
Yeah.
One time we said hi to him and he said hi back, and it was like, whoa.
Make sure you edit that out.
Groundbreaking.
he lives here.
I brought a surprise for you guys.
Did you guys ever see Bad Ronald?
What?
Did you ever see Bad Ronald? It's like
Yep.
that.
Live in
It's
the
just
walls.
weird Sam. He just lives in our walls
Like Geff.
and draws paintings of my wife.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I feel like I really need to see a movie before you continue this joke.
Do you know Bad Ronald?
No.
So what's his name? The kid from Christine?
It was a made-for-TV movie in the 70s, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's the weird kid in the neighborhood. And
Sounds like a reject from
And his-
Fat Albert.
yeah, his wife or his mom is really weird, right? And then he
I
gets
think
in
he was-
trouble for like beating somebody up or something, and then his mom dies.
Yeah, and then they
his
sell
mom
the house.
Oh yeah, his
Yeah.
mom hides him
Yeah.
in her walls, and then she
Like you do.
dies. They sell the house, and then this kid just lives in the walls.
Yeah.
Super fucking creepy.
They ought to call it Bad Oscar. That was a good movie.
I brought some Christmas presents.
Oh really?
So here's the thing. I ordered you guys presents off of
Looks
Etsy.
pretty small.
They're all in here for all of you. For all of you. All your presents are in this tiny little bag.
Something my great grandma would always say at Christmas.
So I got these
Bum
off,
everybody out.
I got
That's
these
small.
off Etsy, and like, you know how when you go on Amazon and you get like a gift and you can put like a gift message? They have that on Etsy, and so I wrote a gift message thinking it would be like Amazon, and whoever runs this shop would just like print this gift message out. But this poor woman had to handwrite this message out. So there's a gift card in here that I thought would be like digitally like printed, but on the left side, she's apologizing for like I think she wasn't ready to handwrite this.
I didn't know I knew how to spell some
Okay,
of those
so here's the
words.
card, Brian, if you would like to.
It's Brian, Blaine, Ken, and Sam.
Jesus.
There's a 20-sided with these are what's visible: fart, nuts, butt, Casio, weed, dick, toot, nut. So there's a wiener dog on a bicycle, old-timey bike.
So read the left side first, knowing that something else is about to happen.
Okay, I tried. I could come up with anything to match. I couldn't come up with anything to match up to the level of awesome as that gift message. Please enjoy and try to leave the house. People might think you've gone missing if you don't. Facebook, Critical Scrub, Twitter. Should I be reading that?
Sure, yeah, Critical Scrub. Go to her Etsy shop. I made her
And
hand
then
right
the
this.
other side is, have you ever encountered a gelatinous cube and thought if I could trace my dick with one of those, I would never leave the house? Well, Merry Christmas, Nerd Poker. Love, Dan. It could have been so much worse.
So
One bad word.
these are
It's all handwritten.
soaps that are gelatinous cubes, and inside there's a D&D dice that you can slowly expose as you wash your genitals.
I'm
So-
only going to use that for my genitals.
Wait.
There's 4 different scents. There's vanilla,
Is there genital?
northern woods,
That's genital.
toasted coconut, and Egyptian dragons. So you guys figure out which ones of these you want. And there's dice inside of it. And then I brought some
They're all green.
little candy canes for Rhodes if he was awake.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Happy Christmas.
What are you saying
nerds.
about our hygiene?
I'm saying you all smell fucking terrible. Merry Christmas.
What are?
This one's dragon. I just liked it because it had dragon in it.
Enjoy your
happened?
soap,
Last week.
you stinky fucks. So, you guys are experiencing the collapse of Amina. You kind of just met the Demolith. Barris did a little deliberate possession of himself to channel the Demolith, and he told you to suck his dick, and then he broke Barris's neck. By the way, Brian is eating the candy canes I brought for his son.
He's asleep, and you brought 3. I worked all day. I'm starving.
Fair. Fat Sal's will be here any minute. But
So good, you guys.
Oh, my God.
you guys are currently
That's
camped.
the sponsorship we need.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
We'd be so fat.
We tried to get Grill Mall to sponsor us, but here's what we didn't take into account. They weren't delivery range.
Yeah, they're really far away. Isn't Turtle from Entourage involved with Fat Sal's? I believe he is.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
He's not in the kitchen, but
No, I think he's an owner or something.
Give him a couple more years of
I think
auditions.
He's been busting tables.
yeah, he's involved.
But you guys are in the outskirts of the southwest edge of the island of Amina. You kind of
That's a Tex-Mex.
ran away from the marshes of Golduz because the castle of the Demolith was at the bottom of a pool, was starting to collapse in an earthquake.
Yes.
And to the east, Morgothal, the Lost City, aka Warchild, was battling a bunch of monsters. Twee scouted over there for you.
Right.
Wait, I thought Warchild was the Shmoo. I thought we started.
Yeah,
calling
but
him
he's
Shmoo
in
Warchild.
the
He's
tree
currently
now.
that's right.
steering
He's in there.
Morgothal.
I forgot about that,
The
yeah.
giant ass tree. You haven't seen him really since he was mobile, except for Twee. Twee saw him from a distance. He flew over the marshes, and after you defeated Count Fenzen, saw it and kind of turned around because Morgothal was in the middle of fighting a bunch of headless stone giants and headless mind flayers, and it looked like a bit of a mess. So you guys had Gago do some scouting, and he found a cave.
And now he's a Weeblo.
He got his he got his time travel cave badge, you
I
guys.
just remember
And
what
he,
happened to Gago.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Tom almost killed Gago. You depleted him of
Thought he
his
was
hit
an
points,
evil
and he was
beetle.
in his death spiral before Twee healed him up.
Jesus.
You did the same
we
thing a
fucked him
few
up pretty
episodes.
hard, right?
He's got to quit flying in like an asshole. I think next time he'll be a little more obvious about it, probably.
He'll definitely try. He's
Hey, you guys.
he's kind of a,
You're gonna turn it on.
he's kind of a drunk idiot, so there's no guarantee. But yes, you guys are in a camp. You went into Lehman's tiny hut with your wood elf crew to rest up, and now you're talking about going to the time travel cave.
Are we healed up?
Yes.
Oh, we are.
I'm gonna swing by
you guys
Lehman's
were
Radio Shack and get some batteries.
in the middle of healing when Gago stopped by and you cut him down with a sword. I'll say all you guys are healed up and your spells are learned, but maybe a couple of the wood elves still are kind of nursing some wounds because one of them got a couple of them got hit, but one of them got really fucked up in the Count Fenzen battle. So
Oh, yeah. Killed a fence in.
Yeah. And
And all that's left now is the demolith.
That's right.
Yeah, all that's left now is the Demolith, but you realize the only way you think you can defeat him
Is to
go
back
back
in time.
and find his last ancestor who sacrificed themselves. A little bard by the name of Horo, who you met in episode 1.
He's a creepy freako.
And you've actually met him twice. You met him after he had met Count Fenzen and had gone mad.
Yeah.
Right. And then we met him
You went back in time in a drow cave that collapsed.
and we saw the normal version
And
of
you
him.
saw, because you went back in time, you saw Horo right after he arrived on the island, and he was kind of just a go-getter bard. And you told him to watch his ass, and you kind of left him to his own devices.
That should have worked.
And tried to take a boat off the island and fast-forwarded time.
So, refresh my memory. What did we decide we were going to do?
I
Had we
think
yet?
we're looking to go underground.
Yeah,
Drow-
right.
drow
But we're going to try to do this,
cave.
right? We're going to try to
Yeah.
go back in time. Do we know for sure which place to do that? There were
Yeah,
several options. Do we know?
Gago told you there was a nearby drow cave. There's a few more around the island.
Right, but that's the right one to do? Or, I mean, because we could go further if it was the, you know what I mean? Like, any cave will do?
It doesn't matter. We have to still have to find the guy.
Yeah.
So.
Right, but
And
then,
then what, we
this
just
is
have
where
to
he
protect
was,
him, I
isn't
guess?
it?
I guess we have to protect
'cause
him
we're
and keep
by
him
the
from...
beach, right? Aren't we? Aren't we still by the shore?
Yeah.
Which is where he comes in if we go back far enough, right?
Yeah. But again, it's like...
He's kind of a little bit east. He's like maybe like a day's travel east of where you are, but he was along the beach. I mean, you feel like you can trace the map along the southwest shore.
But once we find him, what do we do? Protect him? Or take him forward in time, I guess, with us?
I don't know. Well,
Maybe we should do that. Take him with us and go forward in time.
how do we do that? How do we go
By
forward?
going out to sea.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought that was what happened.
How
Sorry, just
could a
past
couple of
blaming note.
ding dongs find out for sure if that's how it works?
Well, while you're debating this, one of the wood elves comes over who's been scouting. He didn't stay in Lehman's tiny hut. He was in good health, so he didn't really need to rest. So he was kind of watching a perimeter. Because you guys, when you fled the not Count Fenzen, the Demolith's sort of marsh castle, like it got fucked up. Like it was collapsing, and it almost felt like the island was collapsing.
Right.
So he wanted to scout and make sure nothing followed you out of the marshes woods. And he says he found an elf. He comes back and says,
Sort of an elf.
a lunar elf. It wants to parlay with you guys.
All right. Parlay as in speak in French, or parlay as in deal?
Make peace.
Okay.
You guys up for it?
We'll talk to him.
Sure.
Yeah, we can go talk to an elf.
So the wood elf leads you back away from the shoreline a little bit. This lunar elf is very nervous, and as you approach, you recognize it as Luoven. It's the first lunar elf you ever met, and it
remember the name.
briefly encountered you again when you went to meet Lekis.
Yeah, we fought this one before, right? Yeah. Or
You've yet to really
fought, but-
fight a lunar elf. You just
but-
think they're gross.
yeah, but didn't I? Set
So
the
you tell
place
me.
on fire.
Yes, and
Or pissed her off, right?
her friends pissed off you. She strikes you as more of some sort of caster or something rather than a warrior. But she seems very humbled, and she tells you that
Did she seem bitten before, or no? This isn't one of the ones that seemed turned.
Well, here's the thing. You guys have had some very creative interpretations of what I've told you they look like. So the lunar elves have sort of pale blue skin, Some of them don't have pupils, and this one in particular has pupils, but she has very sharp piranha-like teeth. You guys interpreted that as they're all vampires. They turned Lekis into a vampire.
But she isn't.
There's no evidence that's actually happened, but because I said sharp teeth, I think you guys were just saying it's a vampire. It's a vampire.
It's for biting necks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sharp teeth. That's why piranhas have.
But
Rats have sharp teeth too.
Yeah.
yeah, she almost does have a
vampire.
rat-like quality
She's a rat lady.
Rats are vampires.
because she's got elven ears and yeah.
You know who else? Dee Snider from Twisted Sister.
Yeah, he sharpened his teeth.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty silly. And you know
And
where
he,
he goes.
then he had to have
Grill
them
all.
fixed. Had to have them capped.
Well, good for him. That's a
would
wise
say,
choice.
Because he had sharpened his teeth. I lost my teeth to the Silver Jews, which was kind of like a Sebado offshoot from Pavement. So it was kind of the same sort of thing.
Boo.
At any rate, what you know
I
about the
have low hopes for my Clan of Zymox bit coming up.
what you know about the Lunar Elves now is very different from what you knew about them when you first met them.
Right.
Okay.
The reason they look so gross is because they were a part of a sort of elven death cult.
Yeah.
A bunch of
I
these
saw Elven Death Cold open for
blue oyster fart. So
I blew some moisture. Hey, send in your funny punchline to that one to a Nerd Poker, P.O. Box.
Don't
Brian's
fear the
house.
sleeper.
the
Funniest part of that bit was me saying that people would nail something.
the reason the world ended is because the Lunar Elves brought the moon down on the planet.
Right.
So
That's right.
It's like a total eclipse of something. I can't.
when Lekis told you this and said that they had reformed, you didn't really believe it.
Right.
It was sort of
But also
the
it's-
second
so the demo-
strike for them.
But how does the
with you guys.
demo have something to do with that then? That's what's confusing.
You
to
don't
me.
know yet.
So they brought the moon down to the. Well,
Well,
let's talk to
here's the
her
thing.
about
When
it.
the
How
world,
about that?
here's what you do know about the Demolith and his connection to the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Is he struck a deal with a god to keep this island alive. Where basically this god Mononymiclear kept Amina around with the Demolith's help. And as a result, the Demolith, who was originally a vampire, him and his vampire buddies were bringing in slave ships for food,
Right.
which you guys were on one
And this
of.
is sort of like a food area for everybody.
This whole
It's like
place
it's
was
a
like a meat
ranch.
farm for vampires.
So that's why he's keeping it alive. But he's also
But
trying
now
to kill
Demolith,
it.
the Demolith has cast sort of a spell on the island and is sort of, because he's evil, he hasn't really settled for the bargain that he made with Mononymiclear. Now he's
Got it.
trying to absorb the whole island to transcend into being an evil god.
Right. Well, that's not going to happen.
You hope.
Oh, we hope.
Is
The Earth is sort of collapsing at this point, so it's difficult to say who's really on the winning side at the moment.
Well,
and do we know where he is? Exactly where he is.
From what you know, gossip-wise, at least like the Demolith told you this when he communicated to you through Barris, there's just like a shred of bone left of the physical entity of the Demolith at the bottom of that pool in his castle.
Yeah.
And once
It's
it's
underwater.
gone, he will transcend, because I guess once his last descendant died, sacrificed himself, it meant that he had no more blood left on the physical plane.
So we have to find that guy. What's his name again? Hobart? No.
Horo.
Horo. We got to find Horo. And I think take him forward in time with us beyond the time of the Demolith, maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
And how do we?
Hey, can we go to the Jetsons time? That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be
man,
cool.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you do have a visitor.
Oh, yeah, the elf.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us about the bringing the moon down, all that shit.
She says, yeah, we did bring the moon down
Why?
on the planet. Well, our god is one of chaos, and we thought, if we ended the world, we would ascend into some sort of godhood, and it didn't really work out.
No, it didn't happen, did it?
No. No.
Weird.
So what's your offer?
Well, my brothers and sisters and I just tried to march on the Demolith's castle.
Uh-huh.
And I might be all that's left.
Might be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we marched with Lekis, and I think one among us was a traitor, a spy for the Demolith, because as we started marching across the plains and we left our forest, some of us started to feel kind of dizzy. And as we got closer to the marshes, my sister, Marinthan, who was marching next to me, looked at me and she asked who I was, and then she asked who she was. And, I started noticing a lot of us were starting to have this problem, and I realized one of us was casting spells in secret. So we were starting to become disoriented. But Lekka said, there's Morgothal, the lost city that you had told me about. He's in the distance. He's marching on the marshes. I can see him. Let's hurry. But it didn't get better once we got to Morgothal, because he was engaged in combat with these stone giants that had giant steel clamps over where their heads should be. Their heads were missing. There were dark priests, some kind of floating dark priests with no heads that were casting spells of protection. And just when we started to think we were turning the tide of the battle, we were actually doing kind of okay helping Morgothal. He was starting to, pierce a couple of these giants with his fingers and reduce them to ash. Something really unsettling happened. Whatever there was left of light in the sky, all the sort of reds and blues above the mists that function as a sort of sunlight for a minute, disappeared and appeared underneath us, under the dirt, and shone up, casting light from underneath. And a strange pop happened in the air, and we saw a very tall figure that was pure white. It had a human's face, but it was far too tall to be a human. No, it was.
Oh, Jesus!
Was that the Demolith?
Was it Jesus Abraham Lincoln?
Peter Boyle. He was tall.
Whatever it was, it had a very calm look on its face. It was not a contagious kind of calm, though. It was very unsettling kind of calm.
Oh, Barry Manilow.
Looks like we made it.
You think it was Barry Manilow? So Barry Manilow was about 20 feet tall, very thin, and
still is.
He wrote all the songs.
He approached one of our strongest warriors, pointed a finger, and then all of a sudden the warrior's skin was missing. And the skin was facing the warrior like a mirror reflection. And for a moment, the warrior didn't seem to know what was happening. And then it began to scream and die. And there was much chaos and eyeballs and entrails floating in the air as many of our warriors were being disemboweled. With just flicks by tall Barry Manilow was just flicking its wrists and removing our body parts, and that's when I fled into the marshes.
Doing some bad shit.
I have a story. Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Its name was either Barry Manilow or the Demolith. I think it might be one and the same. I'm not sure.
We should get off this fucking island.
But I thought that there was nothing left of the Demolith except for Bone Shard.
This appeared to be some sort of ethereal form, or almost like a god visiting the earth. It was.
He's just
very
accumulated
disturbing.
so much magical power, even though he's physically disintegrating, and there's a few
really
molecules of his bones left.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go, then he's going to be a purely astral.
So Luovan kneels and says, she's kind of gross. So like she's kind of crying, but like it just sort of looks like she's choking because she doesn't know how to cry. And she's like,
you don't have to kneel.
She's like, you can slay me if you will. But
I'm not going to slay you.
I
It's
have
okay.
nothing left.
It's all right.
But please take me with you. And,
We will. You're fine.
Yeah, are you going to want to fight the guy again, though?
I will say this: if any amongst you wants to, I don't know what you have planned, but there is a final battle taking place, and my people are losing if any of them are left alive. So my message to you is, I don't want to go back, but if any of amongst your Wood Elf friends or yourselves want to join in the final battle for this island, it is happening to the east on the other side of the marshes.
Tickets are going fast.
It's a thriller and a minute. I think we need to take a different approach.
She also doesn't know your plans. So
Yeah. We're going to go back in time and try to prevent all of this from happening.
We got to get back in time.
We're going to go back to the future.
She says she doesn't know for sure what happened to your mutual friend Lekis, but he was alive last she saw as she ran
good.
through the marshes.
And she went back into Vitello's to see if her gun was in the booth. She went out like us was dead.
So,
Are we?
You
what'd you
were
think of our
accompanied
time travel plan.
when you came over to Luoven. You were accompanied by Forenmeyer, the head of.
Meyer.
There you go. The head of the Wood Elves, and he says he thinks some of his people may want to go be a part of this battle, but he will stay with you and go to the caves. And you explain to Luoven, and she says, "Yeah, I want to go to the caves. I don't want to go back."
Why do they want to go to the battle if we're going to reverse everything?
There's some proud warriors who,
right.
given the apocalyptic nature of what's happening,
That's all right. We'll bring them back
wanna-
when we
wanna
go back in time
branch
anyway.
off. And here, let me tell you exactly what's happening. So, right? Hey, Blaine, what's me looking up the NPC table brought to us by?
Yeah, Blaine.
I got to figure out how many elves are staying.
This brought to you by Milky Way, Russian candy bar that is not made of wood. Small hunger like huge bear, vicious bear, hungry bear with Milky Way, not made of wood.
So, based on my roll, you guys are about to lose 12 of your elves. You had 17. You can try to make
12 running off to the battle.
yeah. You're gonna lose most of them. So you can roll to try to persuade some to
Yes,
stay
I
if
will.
you want. Tell me what you're trying to do here.
You guys should stay with us and fight. We're gonna kick this guy's ass in the past.
Roll. You can do intimidate, persuasion.
You do crystal blue persuasion.
Intimidate.
You're gonna intimidate.
No, I'm going to persuade him because I don't want to scare him away.
Okay. We're gonna say this is because you're trying to keep 12 of them. So let's say you get to roll a 12-sided,
Okay.
and you get to keep for every number you get. It works out pretty well. Works out pretty well that I rolled a number that there's another dice for.
11.
So, what's your persuasion bonus?
It's plus 2, plus 1, and then my charisma is 18.
Fudge.
Yes,
All right, so
I'm
we'll say
super persuasive.
you went ahead and persuaded all of them to stay with you.
Thanks, guys.
They really wanted to go, but you have a lot of charisma for some reason.
You'll be happy.
that's great.
You'll be happy you did.
Nice.
So you guys want to make your way over to the beach in the cave, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody roll a perception check, difficulty 15, please.
Sure.
16.
Perception. I don't got it. I got
Okay.
11 plus 2, so 13. What did you say I had a hit? 15, you said?
Yeah, 15.
Okay.
I did not get it.
All right, Tom, you suddenly have a thought swipe through your head as if from another being that says, I think I will still be here when you return.
Okay.
The voice sounds familiar. It's not your own.
I think I will still be here. Okay. Great. I'll tell them that I heard this.
Okay. Who do you think it was?
No idea. The Demolith, perhaps.
Yeah.
It sounded familiar in a good way. You're not sure.
Oh, so the Demolith, it wasn't threatening us. Yeah. Oh.
Was it a lady
Is it
voice?
Gago?
Gago's with you physically.
Right. Okay, cool.
Was it a female voice?
Kinda.
Kind of.
Yeah, vaguely male.
Yeah. Oh, vaguely male.
Nothing especially masculine about it, but
Do I remember it from my past?
Recent past.
Okay.
Since you've been on the island, for sure.
God, we're dumb. We can never.
All right. Well, hopefully they'll be here when
Yeah,
we
I don't know who
return.
this person is either. All right.
So, you guys head across the map. Any of you have your map out? Do you still have your main and minna maps? So, you guys are here, and you got to kind of go up the coast a little bit. You came out on the very tippity southwest tip. And he says it's on the beach at the top of that little western peninsula.
Okay.
So,
That's on the Wu-Tang map, right?
oh yeah, tain't nothing to fuck with.
No, definitely.
P.S. I have, if in case you guys or any of our listeners are curious, I've reached out to Sean Bryant, and he's super interested in doing a Wu-Tang map. Ain't nothing to fuck with T-shirt, and
That would be amazing.
yeah, and he wants to. What did he say? He said as a suggestion on the back, like have it say "Nerd Poker," where giant killer bees are a possibility.
I like that.
Yeah. So, as you guys head to the beach, you.
God damn it. Have we ever even talked about that? That was so obscure. There's a
comic
there's
named
a
Killer Bees.
stand-up
Oh, Killer
comic
Bees.
named Killer Bees, and one of his bits is "Save up."
One of his bits. That's his bit.
It's recurring bit.
He's great. He's great though. I did a week with him at Charlie Goodnight's in the 80s.
I did a show with him
He's a
at
great guy.
Just for Last Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember what "Save up" came
Well,
from.
well, here's
but-
here's what he would do is he would go. It starts show, and he looks sort of like a
by the
like
way,
a rednecky, like a Willie Nelson comic.
If you want to look him up, it's Beaz.
Yeah, Terrence Beasley Jr.
Yes.
But he go up and he go, "Hey everybody, hey, how you doing? I'm Killer Beast," and he'd tell a joke, and the crowd would start to laugh. He'd, no, don't laugh, save up. And then he'd tell another joke, and the crowd would laugh a little bit harder. He'd, no, don't laugh, save up for later. And then by the end of the show, he would go, and then I get to the punchline, and the crowd goes, save up. And they would carry him out of the parking lot on a litter like Pharaoh. And they would throw money and gold and emeralds
He
at
looked
him.
he looked like Jimmy Hart from WWE.
Yeah.
But he was that kind
Mullet
of
dude,
redneck.
when
Yeah,
like
yeah.
80s, piano key tie stuff. But he was
He's still around killing it though. Like
You
he's
can
Dude.
find his, well, it used to be tapes at truck stops all over the place.
Yeah, he's a truck stop comic. And you know what? He was, like I said, I did a week with him, and he was, we hung out, we went to the mall, we stayed in the condo. It was the fucking worst. But we had a great time together. He was a very cool guy.
80s
Loved
or
Killer
90s?
Bees. 80s.
Oh yeah.
It
wow.
must have been 88, 89.
I did a gig with them. I think 90 in Reno when they had that. It was a catch a rising star. In Reno. It was a
What's the
fucking- it was a-
catch?
the catch was
Meow.
you were there for 5 days and it sucked. That's what the catch was.
Oh, that's some catch, that catch.
I'm thinking maybe that voice was War Machine
Oh yeah.
in the tree.
Okay.
That'd be good if he's still working when we get back.
So you guys hit the ocean, and you see the storms sort of at where the ocean meets the sky. I'll be sailing. There's these big rocky spires I pointed out last episode that are sort of jutting out of the ground. They continue into the water. You start heading north up the coast, and you feel the ground shake for a moment, almost like a familiar shake, like the earthquake or Morgothal, but different this time. And you look
Like a
out.
rolling or like a long shake or like something coming
it's
toward
like
us?
waving rolls, and you kind of look around and you notice in the ocean to the west, it feels like there's a large fissure in the water, about like half a mile out. That could be,
Gojira?
well, the center of the shaking. And these big rocky spires are in the water, and a couple of them kind of topple over and crash.
Wow.
So there's something happening
This is
in
gonna
the
be
ocean
shit.
and on the
There's
island.
emotion in the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean, some sort of continental drift.
Gago says it's just a couple more hours north. You're almost there.
Oh, Jesus.
You're almost there. He's got to slow down for you guys. He can fly a lot faster than you guys can travel. You're
right.
trying to,
We get it.
but yeah, he's like, you guys. Why? I don't know why you can't fly or some shit. One
I
of you
already
can
killed.
fly.
I almost killed
Hey,
you once.
Hey, you know what? While we're traveling, I'm
Go
gonna.
away and then come back.
Why don't you
announce
suck
yourself.
my tiny fairy? Ding dong.
Hold on, there's somebody at the door. Finish your thought when I answer the door.
Yeah, you're the only one who hasn't tried to kill me yet.
I'm going to. I'm gonna sort of float along. I'm gonna levitate myself and tie myself to a rope behind Bodhi, like a kite. And I'm going to study my necromancy book that I found.
What a great idea. You're flipping through it, and you roll a 20, please. What you're gonna, let's see. I'm gonna pull up your sheet real quick. Tell me what.
18.
That's a fuck of a roll. I'm gonna give you your bonus on Arcana. I believe that's a +5, if I'm not mistaken. So
Oh yeah,
23.
it is.
pretty fucking
It's
ridiculous.
true. It's true. I'm looking right at it. It says +5. Holy shit, man!
So
Next, way too excited.
you find a chapter on liches, and you're kind of flipping through it, and you notice there's some sort of footnotes handwritten in there by your now deceased friend Barris.
Liches get stitches and wind up in ditches.
This is
Oh
a
no, that's snitches.
this is a book that you
Those are the ones from Eastwick.
this is a book you snagged that he had been in possession of, and so you see that there's some notes there about
Drop the bomb, exterminate them all.
sowing his master's blood across the entire island in the dirt amongst the rocks and producing enough blood to cover every granule of sand on the island.
Wash the island.
What is this in the margins of?
The Archlich chapter.
And there's a recipe for Archlich, where it's.
Sorta, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
Cary
like
Grant's real name.
The Archlich chapter seems to be designed for wizards who want to ascend into immortality, and you know that the Demolith was a vampire, so there seems to have been some kind of plot to sow the Demolith's blood all over the whole island.
Yeesh. We need to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
Hey, we're
And
back.
now we're back.
We're back and we're back and we're back.
We're back. We're back in the New York
Hey,
Hey
we're
guys.
back.
So you noticed that there was some fissures in the oceon as you
Yes,
were
shit's
marching
going
north.
crazy.
And then it seems to keep going. The waves of earthquakes, the ocean still seems to sort of be foaming. You get to the cave, and a couple of the spires start to sort of rise up out of the ocean.
Just running into
Big
the
stone
cave.
ones,
Get
and
there as fast as possible.
looks like a mountain is starting to
awesome. Let's get the hell
bubble
into
slowly
this
up
cave.
out.
I'm like yelling at people, come on, come
The
on.
elves say, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea," and you guys sort of make a mad dash. And then Forenmeyer says, "Get down, get down," and you notice that
I start dancing.
get down, and the spires that look like they were slowly rising are not only like kind of like significantly higher out of the water than they were before, but it looks like there's two enormous onyx eyes in them.
Away from this, get into the cave, go back in time.
So you're gonna keep running?
Yes.
Yes.
There's sort of some tree cover along
Let's fight the giant
beach.
thing coming out of the ocean.
And so everybody
Not
kind of
Barry Manilow, is it?
yeah. All of a sudden, bubbling up out of the ocean, you
Looks
hear,
like we made it.
and so everybody kind of ducks under the trees a little bit, tries to not be too visible towards this thing rising out of the water. And I'm gonna roll just to see how well that goes.
Dan Rickles was here.
My third wake at the Saban Theater this weekend.
So the stone spire rolled real good.
Oh, great.
You hear this very, very low voice say, "You."
That's not what you want to hear.
And these great black stone hands start rising out of the ocean next to
I'm
the
running my ass off.
head spire.
Running
This is
away.
Moana, right?
How far away is the cave?
No.
It's now about 300
I
yards.
was pretending to be brave and wanted to stand up to this.
Let's see. I'm going to do some group rolls. Everybody, you're going to do a athletics check.
I'm gonna fly.
You're already flying as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay, sure.
All
You
right.
told me you had risen off the ground when the ground first started shaking.
Oh, okay,
I'm,
okay,
I'm
sure,
throwing you that bone. How about this? I'm gonna say
Do I need to be raging for danger sense to help me as I'm running? Because danger sense is not what I thought it was originally. Danger sense is the thing that kind of it helps me in athletics if I'm as trying
good.
not to, right?
sounds as good a time as any.
But do I need to be raging to do it or no?
Let me see.
I think it's just one of my
Blaine,
abilities.
what's danger sense being looked up? Brought to us by.
Danger Sense brought to you by Glostitos, Russian snack chip, no longer containing complete fiberglass. Glostitos destroy jaw and teeth, crunch, not fiberglass, also not 100% wood. Glostitos!
So this is for dexterity specifically,
Right.
Brian? But because this is athletics is a dexterity skill.
That's
so
what I thought,
I'm
yeah.
giving it to you for sure.
I am taking the dash.
You've got
action.
advantage. So you get to roll twice on this. What are you talking about there, Tom?
I am dashing. That's my cunning action. I'm going to dash.
Great.
Let's see what happens with that.
Everybody roll a 20, please.
Wait, what's fast movement? I have a thing called fast movement.
Don't look that up.
Let's see.
About a 12.
What's your athletics on that though?
My
Action
strength.
under action.
I'd keep it around 12. Probably make it about 10, I think. I don't have any athletic
Okay.
skills, and my strength is a -2.
You're flying faster than they can run anyway, so you're
Oh, okay, sure.
you're going to do pretty good. That was just to make sure you didn't trip for the most part or bump into a tree while you're flying. So, Brian, you get a plus 30 bonus on all movement speeds. In addition, a character can make a speed check difficulty 10 to improve by another 10. Roll another 20.
I haven't rolled one yet.
Yeah,
so-
roll in twice, please. Once. See,
Ooh, one.
it's a botch, but then roll again because you got advantage. You have to take the higher roll.
18.
So you get an 18. So that's your initial one. Your athletics
I can't
bonus.
believe I fucking botched that first one.
Yeah, well, luckily you had advantage, or you would have been fudged. So you have a plus 7, so that's a 25.
I could go for somebody.
Roll a
getting
20
peanut
again to
butter
see if you get another bonus for how far you can get.
18 again.
Fuck. Okay, so Bodhi plows far ahead of all. Bodhi plows ahead of all the elves, and he gets really close to the cave. Tom, what did you
I'm
roll?
gonna dash. I didn't roll yet.
Okay, roll and see how that dash goes.
18.
Boom, you're right up there with him. You're fine. A couple of the elves lag behind. Forenmeyer keeps up with you guys, not quite as fast, but he does fine. A giant stone arm shoots up out of the ocean really, really fast and dips up into the mists in the sky before slamming down. Gross. 4 of them go splat. You just lost 4 elves. You guys make it into the cave, and there is a narrow tunnel, but you guys can fit in it 2 by 2. So you dash down. You hear rumbling and crashing as you hear what is probably the cave being slammed shut behind you. Luoven keeps up with you at the front of the pack. She's the lunar elf that has decided to go with, and she says, well, this is actually where I think I can come in quite useful. The lunar elves in our wood actually had access to one of the abandoned drow caves. It's too far for us to have even considered traveling there. We would have had to cut through the marshes, but I know how the time travel works here, and I think I know where this tunnel actually connects with another tunnel. We have to spend a certain amount of time at a certain depth to make time unwind. And we actually, while we're traveling here, I should tell you, I think we have more options than you might realize. You were talking about saving the bard. The possibilities are near limitless down here if we can find safe passage through the tunnels. We can rewind time really far back. The problem is the farther we wind back time, the less we might know what to do with ourselves. The island will change beyond our normal expectations and perceptions. Our ability to leave the island might change. None of us know exactly what happens in the past except what we've heard through stories. So
I think we should go back to the time that we were here. So we don't.
It was already shitty when we got here.
Well, right, but we can stop. Our mission was just to stop this guy from getting killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that happened when we were here.
Yes.
I think his idea seems like it could get too crazy. The not knowing.
What other options were you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, she says,
That's what I mean. Her.
when you heard about Amina being a place you could travel to, you heard that there was adventure here.
Yeah.
You heard a variety of things might be here. That probably
It
meant
helped me pay for college.
that probably meant that Amina was still a part of the globe before my cult, as it were, crashed the moon into the planet. That was about 1,500 years ago.
Okay.
So
So before then,
when you arrived here was probably just a couple of weeks ago, but the world you left was over 1,000 years ago.
wait. Our world?
Yeah.
So we're 1,000 years in our future?
More than that. About 1,500.
Well, here's my question. Where's the jetpacks?
We were promised flying cars
So
and food pills.
it's all well and good, and I'm not saying it's
Have
bad
apes taken
idea.
over?
Well, I'm sorry.
Have apes taken over?
I thought you said something else.
She thinks it's actually maybe the best idea is
That's in
is
the
to grab
3000s.
this
Yeah.
bard, but after that, do you have a plan? We may want to take him back farther.
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
I don't like the idea of coming back to this place where it's already detached from a planet.
Yeah.
Because it's really not that worth saving at that point.
There's giant cabin in the woods hands coming out of the ocean and smashing people.
Yeah,
terrible.
she says,
We're here at a bad
I
time.
think you're on the right track, though. Let's go back to when you landed here and fetched this bard.
Sure.
I think he might be, at the very least, a key to unwinding the Demolith's plan.
Yeah, if he's an ancestor too of the devil, it's kind of weird.
Well, the Demolith was once human and had some sort of relatives who did not become undead. That's what the bard is descended from.
Okay. Right.
From human blood.
Got it.
Not undead blood.
Right. There was very little we could do to stop him the last time, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking we...
Shall we do a quick refresher about what your characters know about Horo?
Sure.
He landed here a little bit before you guys. You found him wandering an encampment when you first got here
He's cutting his hair with
with a rock.
a rock.
Yeah, he was already a bit
Still
nuts.
better than Fantastic Sam's.
He'd already, you know from conversations later that Count Fenzen had at some point talked to Horo, sung him a song even, and it had made Horo go crazy.
Right.
Lekis and the other guys around the encampment had seen Horo kind of wandering around. He wasn't wearing all of his fancy clothes anymore. He kind of stripped down to just a unitard and was just being weird. And when you and Lekis went to explore the woods, you saw him gut himself.
Yes.
And a bunch of sort of shadows came out of his gut and
Right.
just flew into the woods.
That
And
was horrible.
it was not pleasant to watch.
Yeah, I've had nights like that.
But he looked like he had already kind of been cursed somehow. And then when you rewound time, you saw right after he got off the boat and he was fine.
Got it.
So you could try to fetch him in that window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wait,
right off
wait
the
for him
boat.
to show up before he gets off the boat.
You might see yourselves.
And is that a problem?
Luovan shrugs and says, her people
out
considered
the
such a
whiteboard
thing
and
sacred
explain
on a
which one
religious
we're
level? Yeah.
Doing multiple timelines.
And then what do we do with him when we get him?
We either take him further back in time to where before the. How are people getting here on a boat if we're detached from the?
So there's
Are they time traveling?
Luovan tells you that there is some sort of great storm that began to surround Amina back in your time. And once a boat passed through it, it would land in Amina. But to leave Amina was impossible. So at some
At
point,
Hotel California, I stayed at that one weekend.
at some point, Amina became surrounded by a
Anytime-
magical
anytime you
storm
Yeah, but
that separated it from time.
cats, right?
So
How long has the storm surrounded a minute? If you know?
since before the apocalypse, since before the moon crashed into the planet, but she's not sure. But
Could
it
people?
was
People couldn't leave before the apocalypse.
no. Once the Demolith and Manon and McLear struck a deal to protect Amina before the moon crashed,
Got it.
and so
They've been around a while.
they hid Amina. Well, we're talking about
traveled.
Undead elves.
a god and an archlich. So
Yeah.
and also the Lunar Elves. She says, you know, she's not undead, but she's very old.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's go back in time, snatch Horo, and then think about things.
Yeah.
Start traveling through the tunnel, and all of a sudden, you hit a door. Tunnel's been staying pretty narrow.
The door says Hamburg, 1964.
It's-
We're about to watch the Young Beatles.
It's been winding down and down into the earth. Luovan's been telling you down is good. It means we're, separating ourselves from the timeline. It means that we're avoiding whatever calamity was behind us. It's good. We're approaching sort of neutral territory. Once we get certain depth, we are out of time. We are sort of in.
from time.
We're apart from time. Yes. And
Can we go back to the night before I went to see American Hustle so I can tell myself not to go see it because it was was the worst piece of shit ever
oh
made?
my God, Victoria and I
Jesus, it
went
was
on
so
a date
bad.
night, and we were like, "Oh, we don't really like this director. We don't really like any of
That's puts you to sleep, though.
And we were like, "Fuck, what have we done?"
We watched it as a screener and it made us angry.
We were so
we
pissed off.
really. We were looking forward to it. It was like, oh, this looks like a
It
great
was-
cast. Looked like fun. I'm kidding.
Wow. What
Brian, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, good. You were out for a while.
I said I liked it, and then
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that was
I slept for like 4 hours.
That was
it was crazy.
that was a mistake that you liked it. You get to the door, and it's
Does she think there's anything strange with this door?
Hey, Brian, you missed the exit. You were asleep for like 3 hours.
Am I driving? Oh my god! Oh, my pipe just fell over.
Oh, you know, it was great. I was giving Eddie Pepitone and I were doing a road trip up and back to San Francisco, and we're driving back in the middle of the night, and he would fall.
Fucking told
Yeah,
me.
he would fall asleep, and he'd go, I don't want to fall asleep. Stay awake. It's all right. Okay, sleep, Eddie. And then he would like wake up every 40 minutes. All right, hey, you okay? And I would always go, huh? What? Well, Jesus Christ! What the fuck? It's so easy to mess with people.
Just tap the brakes right there.
Whoa!
I
Where's
used
the
to do
turbine?
take a bow all the time. Used to hit the brakes really hard. So they'd say, take a bow. And then the car goes forward.
you're an asshole.
And everybody take a bow.
No, but when cars used to have emergency brakes in the middle, we'd go Batman, and you just you'd scream Batman and then pull it, and then
And you would strip all the gears
flip
out
around.
of your car.
No, you
just call that
flip
Starsky
your
and
tail
Hutch.
ass around, or flip your tail around.
I learned how to do that from my friend Stroker Ace.
If I could stroke my ace, I'd never leave the house.
Is everything a joke to you, Dan? For God's sakes, take it serious.
You know what's not joke to me? The American dream. So the party reaches a door, and Llewellyn says, yes and no, it is unusual in that I didn't necessarily know it was going to be here, but I can guess what it is. It's probably drow.
Jar door.
Drow door. So it sounds like you guys have been down into a drow tunnel before.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were at a part of the drow city there were no drow.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's drow.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Our tunnel also had no drow. That's why we were able to manipulate time. That's why Lekis aged when you met him. He looked a little older, and it's because he had spent about 10 years rewinding time and relearning scripture to become a paladin.
Huh. We could level up so high right now.
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, man, we could just spend 50 levels down here and never go above ground again if we wanted to.
Maybe we can speed it up, too.
You'd mostly have to fight
fight the
giant
Demolyth.
cave toads and stuff instead of an evil god, but, you know.
That's true. We could level up to like level 50 and then go.
Grinding. Grind some levels. Grind some
that would
levels.
take like 2 years.
We can farm gold. We can sell it on.
That's the
on
other thing, too.
internet.
Yeah, you in real time,
But how long would
we
the
would have
game-
to just keep playing the
to get to
game
level
without
50?
going above ground.
Yeah, we'd just be playing underground. Our listeners,
Nerd poker with
we
Just
get
grinding
down to one
XP.
listener. I'm sticking with it.
It'd be like World
I'm
of
gonna attack
Warcraft.
the microwave
where,
in the crew room again.
World of Warcraft, where you like, or like one of those games where you like start in that village just killing squirrels to like level up, and then like, what if I stayed in this village killing squirrels for 100 levels?
and then venture out.
So, Forenmeyer says, okay, I'll do it. And he walks up to the door and bangs on it. And it's metal, and it's blocking off your path completely. And a little slider opens up. And
Walt sent me.
you see some yellow eyes and dark black skin looking at you through the...
It's not the thing in the crate from Creepshow, is it?
It says, password.
Oh shit! I just changed it.
Adrian
It's
Barbeau.
it's a I remember it was a number and then a couple of uppercase and then a lowercase. What was it? It was my dead cat.
Are you raiders?
No.
What do you want?
We're trying to save the planet. Save a Minna.
Sounds dumb. The thing slammed shut.
All right. Knock again. Anybody know password?
Yeah, who can?
Is that Elf maybe know?
Who
Llewellyn
has
said,
persuasion? Who can talk
I
to
do.
this guy? Yeah.
Next time, I'm just going to tell him to open the door. But,
"You want to knock again?"
yeah.
Llewellyn says, "If you guys run out of ideas, she has an idea."
Okay.
So you knock.
Uh-huh.
Thing slides open. It says, "Find that password."
No, we don't really need a password.
Oh, you don't?
No. We can just come right in. We've been here before.
Why should I let you in?
Because we're very powerful.
Roll a 20. We're gonna say this is a difficulty 12.
18.
Yeah.
He says, "Well, there are a lot of you, and I mean, I don't want to say we don't want trouble.
we're not gonna cause any
You look kind of like a bunch of dick fucks, but
Whoa.
We call him Dick Fuckland.
I guess if you're on some kind of noble journey, you're not gonna just kill us all, right?"
Nope.
The thing slams shut and it opens, and you see a bunch of drow sitting around. They're all missing one eye, and smoking cigarettes and just kind of like playing card games. And they're like, ugh. And they kind of like all stand up.
Fun party.
Oh, nice. Oh,
There's about 8 of them. There's torches on the wall, and the tunnel kind of leads in what looks like a city, an underground city. It goes, about a mile down, and the tunnel breaks off into a bridge over a chasm, and you realize this is not just a door, but like a gateway to some sort of drow civilization.
Drowville.
And I think we're going to call it.
Okay.
But first of all, we had Fat Sal's, and we have a couple of people to thank, like Will Rubenstein. Thanks, Will.
Thank you, Will. Delicious.
You know what? I got a Will Turkey Rubenstein. It was pretty good too.
Thank you, Vader's helmet.
Oh, no. Come on.
Thanks, Vader's helmet.
Thank
It
you,
looks like a Peter.
thank you, Barry Blue Jeans. I believe that's a reference to another D&D podcast. Thank you, Montana.
Oh, Montana.
Thanks, Montana.
Beautiful, beautiful drive-through.
Did I saw him with Rosanna Dana at Dantana's?
Oh, God.
We have thank you, Hectic Planet. I believe that's an Evan Dorkin comic book reference. And we've got, this is kind of up there with, first of all, thank you, Skeletor's Dick.
Oh, always.
Always thank you,
Yeah,
Skeletor's
We don't
Dick.
even
Skeletor's Dick.
when we don't say it, we're saying it.
And we're always saying it in our
we're always
hearts.
saying
You know,
it.
like some, like,
Sometimes I stub my toe and I say, thank you, Skeletor's dick.
yeah.
You know, I'd like to think there's a little bit of Skeletor's dick in all of us.
Oh, I wish.
You only know where to look.
Also, and this is with no spaces, one word. Thank you. Eat your family.
Working on it. Only got
It
my
might
mom
be-
left, so.
Might be Edie Our family.
Hey, so check out Crit Scrub on Etsy. She makes gelatinous cube soap with dice inside.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Here's
Chris
one.
Scrub.
Can you smell it?
For cleaning your nerd.
I'm holding it right up to the microphone.
Thanks for
Can you smell it?
handwriting the word dick on a cute little
I'm
card.
so sorry if I had known your policy was to handwrite these notes. But yeah, go please check out the 2-for-1 Mad Magazine subscription and fucking get yo mags.
BrianPosehn.com for tour dates. There aren't a ton because I'm doing other shit, but got Chicago and DeKalb coming up in the new year. I do always do that once a year. What's that place I like? The club you love in Chicago.
Kitchen.
Beat Kitchen. Yeah. Terrific. I will be there. I think it's like the 10th. It's the second weekend of January. But BrianPosehn.com knows better than I do.
Shout out to Meredith Catchell, who took over my show at the Beat Kitchen.
Yeah.
Good place.
Also, large packages, USPS.gov. You can make sure that they're there for easy pickup between 9 and 5 at most participating local post offices.
Yeah, I did that this week, actually. I had a package I couldn't find, and I had no idea where it was.
I still have a guitar in Japanese custom someplace from about a year and a half ago. And they just said, well, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah,
I went,
that never
"Thanks."
helps. At all.
Yeah, not helpful.
Which episode was this? Thanks for listening to episode 33.
And a turd.
See you in 34. Thanks, Blake. Thanks for listening to another episode of Nerd Poker. You can follow us at patreon.com/nerdpoker, and you get bonus episodes from there. And you can also send us anything at P.O. Box 16069, Encino, California 91416. Thanks for listening. Sam was wrong. That was 34.
Okay, can you turn it on for just a second? Can you turn it on just for a second?
Record it.
Go.
34 and a turd.
Jesus. So worth it.